Hello everyone and welcome to the video. If you're new here, hi, my name's Louise, and if you're returning, welcome back. Today I'm going to share with you 3 spooky activities that you can do to help you feel the Halloween vibes. They're going to be very relaxing and chill, so without further ado, let's get started. This first activity is doing a little bit of painting. Here I'm using a pre-made plaster mold of 2 little pumpkins sitting on top of each other. I got this from Kmart. It was very cheap. I'll make sure that I link this down in the description below so that you can buy it if you're interested. My husband challenged me to try and paint these little pumpkins as realistic and lifelike as possible, and I absolutely love the idea of this challenge, so of course I took him up on it. I used the paints that were available in the kit and nothing else to be able to achieve this effect. I'll let you be the judge and comment down below if you think I managed to achieve this challenge. If you do decide to do this craft, I do have a little bit of advice reflecting back on it. The plaster can be quite thirsty and soak up a lot of the paint. So what you want to do is you want to use a lot of paint if you want to create gradients and shading while you're painting on your pumpkin. Otherwise, the paint underneath gets too dry before you apply the paint on top, and it doesn't really mix that well. I find painting to be a very relaxing and peaceful activity. I do find that my brain switches off during this time and I'm able to focus on the one thing, and that is the painting. It's very good at helping me achieve mindfulness and a sense of the here and now. After cleaning the brush, it was time to start on doing the little tiny details like the eyes and the mouth and the little stalk on top of the pumpkins. I would say when you do this, make sure that there isn't a lot of paint on your brush because it can accidentally get onto your beautiful orange pumpkins that you've just painted. You need to have a very delicate touch and be very precise. It's not something that you want to rush. Overall, I thought it was a very fun activity. It was very chill and I'm very happy with the way that the pumpkins turned out. I think what I might do is put a little bit of string on the back of them and turn it into a little decoration that I can put on my door during the Halloween season. The next activity is possibly one of my favorites. It is of course baking. It wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't include some baking or some cooking in it. Today we're going to be making some red velvet cupcakes with ghoulish green icing. I like using the packet mixers because they're really easy to follow. There aren't too many steps involved, which can really confuse my ADHD brain, and I get a little bit overwhelmed when making things from scratch. Also, things don't turn out the way they should and the kitchen ends up a disaster zone, so using the packet mix has been really helpful. I'm able to create delicious treats for the ones that I love and really enjoy the process of baking. Woolies this year is selling this really cute cupcake set. It has these patty pans which have spider webs, pumpkins and spiders on them, and also these little pick sticks which have the little pumpkins and the cats and the witches hats in them. They really put a cute Halloween spin on the cupcakes that you're baking. Again, I will link these down in the description below. If you're attending a Halloween party this year, I am so happy for you. How nice is it to be able to get out of the house and see our friends and family? Cupcakes are a great Halloween treat that you can take along with you if you've been asked to bring something with you to the party. They can also be a great little dessert that you can have after dinner, or you can take them as a snack in your lunchbox. Don't be like me though and eat them for breakfast. That's very naughty. While the cupcakes were baking away in the oven, making the house smell so heavenly, it was time to start on the icing. I used the packet mix that was supplied with the cupcakes. I added the milk that they asked me to add, but then I also added a little bit of dye to make the ghoulish green color. I was a little bit concerned that they would turn out to be more Christmassy because of the red and green combination. However, they did have on the back a recipe for making dark green, and so I decided to try and go with that. It did end up looking a little bit blue, so I added a little bit of the green dye in there, and then it came out to be ghoulish green, which I absolutely loved. While making the icing, I felt like a witch who was putting together all of the ingredients in her cauldron and boiling and bubbling and brewing up some kind of magical spell. The cupcakes turned out perfectly. They looked so beautiful when they came out of the oven. I can't say the same for the icing. I think the extra liquid from the dye caused something weird to happen and the texture came out all goopy, but I guess it kind of worked in the end because it was supposed to be ghoulish green icing. Adding the finishing touches with the pick sticks was the cherry on top. They came out looking so spooky and so cute. I was very happy with them. It was lovely to sit down and eat them with a cup of tea. The last spooky activity for the video is doing a little bit of pumpkin carving. This is a fun one to do with the family, but be very careful, sharp knives are involved. Don't let little fingers get close to these. This is the second year my husband and I have used these particular pumpkins to do our pumpkin carving, and in hindsight we probably should have looked up a video about how to do it. I would strongly recommend, if this is the first time you're carving pumpkins, to look up a video. We did make some mistakes like scraping out the pumpkins. That was not a good idea because it just caused all the pumpkin fibers to come off, and then it took ages to try and clean it all up again. As you can see, there was a lot of mess. Despite the mess, it was such a fun experience. I do recommend you get these pumpkins that are specifically grown for pumpkin carving. They sell them at either Woolies or Coles. Again, I will link down in the description below. If you find these pumpkins too expensive, you can just buy a regular pumpkin and try and carve that out. My husband and I have done that on previous years. It does take quite a long time because they're not hollow. You do have to cut out a lot of the pumpkin interior, but then you don't want to put it to waste. You can always make yourself something delicious like a pumpkin soup or a pumpkin pie or something like that, and there you go, you have your baking or cooking Halloween activity. Having a stencil or drawing to follow is also very helpful. All I did was Google jack-o'-lanterns and found some pictures that I really liked and put them together to make up my own jack-o'-lantern, and this is what I came up with. One more piece of advice: if you are going to carve a pumpkin, make sure that you do it close to Halloween if you want them to be out on Halloween night, because they don't last very long once they're carved. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked it. If you did, please click the like button and share with your friends. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. I'd love to have you here. We all have a good time. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.